Hi, this is Ken Core, Congregational Care Minister at Brentwood Baptist Church. President Trump has designated May as Mental Health Awareness Month. One of the mental health issues that this pandemic has fostered is anxiety. In a recent video, I suggested that one way to manage anxiety is to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is not the same as meditation. Rather, it is a way to bring your mind back to the present moment by paying attention to your thoughts, emotions, and sensations now. It is a purposeful form of self-awareness. In his letter to the Corinthian church, the Apostle Paul reminds us that in the midst of spiritual warfare, one of our challenges is to take every thought captive for Christ. Paul was aware that our thinking is directly related to our spiritual lives. Unfortunately, I am often not aware of my thinking, and the result is that I get caught up in negative thinking, anger, resentment, stress, and anxiety. Without consciously realizing it, my sympathetic nervous system goes into overdrive. I lose control of my emotional regulation. I become dissociated from my body. My spiritual perspective is lost. I imagine every worst-case scenario, and I become anxious. In another letter to the Corinthians, Paul encourages us to be babies in evil, but mature in our thinking. What does mature thinking look like? For sure, mature thinking will be able to control our thoughts in a way that we don't lose control to anxiety. But how? Mindfulness is a simple technique of bringing our minds out of the past failures that we can't change, away from the future anxieties that we can't control, and into the present moment in which we're living. The technique that I recommend is the simple acronym STOP. The S stands for stop what you're currently doing. The T stands for take a deep breath. The O stands for observe what you're thinking, feeling, and sensing in that very moment. The P stands for proceed to what you were doing. Anytime that you realize that you're getting anxious for any reason, simply S-T-O-P, stop. There's a lot of science behind this technique. The medial prefrontal cortex is the region of the brain that evaluates our circumstances and makes decisions about our safety. It responds to the messages of fight, flight, or freeze that come from the amygdala. By intentionally stopping our thinking, we allow the medial prefrontal cortex to calm the sympathetic nervous system and bring our emotional regulation back into our control. But even without the scientific explanation, you can just remember that the scripture says, "Be still and know that I am God." It is only when we're still in this present moment that we can bring our anxiety back into God's control and find peace. This week, when you find your mind racing with negative thoughts, anxiety-producing thoughts, just stop. This is Ken Core with a mental health moment.